Okay everybody, welcome to our iPad training today. We are going to be looking at the Aurasma app. Now this one is going to seem like a short session. However, some of this may be a little bit challenging for some to complete. So if you would, work through this with some others here, help a friend out, and also make sure that you genuinely do understand this by having completed it, not just by thinking that you understand it because you know the concept. Because this is one that can be a little bit tricky. But it is a really amazing app that I'm hoping that everybody will experiment with and see the benefits of. So we're going to be looking at this app today called Aurasma. We're going to work on getting it set up, and then we're going to do a little bit of a challenge activity with it. Now first off, let's talk really quickly about what Aurasma is. Aurasma is an app that allows you to view the world and change what you see with it. Now before you can do this, you do need to get set up. And we're going to look at how this viewer screen over here actually works. So let's take a quick peek here at this app and how it actually functions. So this is our math textbook that we have for 8th grade, and we've set it up using Aurasma. So what we're doing right now is just viewing it, but look what happens once we highlight and hover over that screen. It's brought up for us an answer key. So right now, and it looks sideways on your screen, but it is straight for me, if I click on any of these images right here that have these numbers, it's going to actually play a video. So I clicked on the blue one, and there we go. What we have now is a teacher who's giving us a quick tutorial. Again, I just hovered over an image, and the image was recognized by my iPad, and now is letting me go here. So for this one in specific, we can now click on this, and if I needed help answering number 16, I could click on that. And there we go. Now we have a nice little video tutorial to help us out. This app can be used in a lot of different ways. We will work on that later on. But this app can be used in a lot of different ways. And that's what we'll be looking at here a little bit more as we go through this today. Now, let's start with this. How can we use the app? When you load the app, here's what you need to do. Click over on that A logo. Now for many of you, and I would say for probably all of you, it's going to ask you first to sign up for an account. We can come back to that later on. We're not going to do that just yet. Now, what we'll see at the bottom once you do click on that logo is it gives us these different options over here, which are the different things that we can do. The first one is the featured Aurasma auras. There are businesses that actually use Aurasma so that you can hover over their images and it will play you something cool. Like the Steelers logo will take you to the Steelers homepage, which is kind of neat. The plus sign allows you to create your own, and we'll talk about how you could create your own and what you might want to do with it. The brackets right here takes you to that viewer screen where it's going to actually be scanning for images out in the environment using your front camera, or excuse me, the camera on the back of the device. We're going to skip over to the far right one here. This is your account, so it allows you to sign in and change your accounts. But the one that we need to do right now to make it so that you can use this educationally is to follow the Upper St. Clair School District account that we have. So what you need to do is up in this screen, type Upper St. Clair, and I'm going to switch back over to our little viewer screen here. So if you click Upper St. Clair, it will take you to this screen and show you lots of different auras. So there are many ones that we've created already. What we need to do is come over here to Channels, and what we're going to do is select the one that is called Upper St. Clair School District. What you need to do is click on this, and then up in the top right hand corner it says Follow. On mine it says Following since I already have followed this. But you need to choose to follow it. Okay? Once you have done this, you now have access to all of the ones that are created because we put these all into one database, and you will then be able to use them and access them at your leisure. So that's how we can get set up for this. And now once you have done that, if you come back here and you scan over something that we have selected for this, you will then get the same result that I was getting in that you can see the actual auras as they arise. There are ones that are built into certain textbooks that you have, and there will be other posters and such that will be hung up throughout the year that you'll be able to use Aurasma with. So it is important that you follow this now. Moving back over here into our presentation here. Now let's talk about creating your own auras. How can you do this? First you need to create an account, which is kind of self-explanatory. So you can go through that process, create your own account. Just so you know, the way that this will work when you create an account is it will only make it so that your auras, or what you create, will show up with your iPad. So for instance, let's say that you have a picture that's up on the outside of your locker and you want it to play some sort of a video about you. Like you might have your teachers might ask you to do this for open house. How would this work? Well, you would create it, and then only your iPad would actually make it show the video that you wanted it to show. It would not be accessible to everybody unless we put it onto our district account. It's important to understand. So you're actually just creating ones for yourself early on, but there will be other ones created for everybody later on. Next, whenever you go to the plus sign here, and I will show you a quick little explanation of how this works. So let's skip back over to my iPad. The first thing you're going to do is push plus. It's going to give you all of these random things. Now these are goofy random animations that you can use, so theoretically, and I have a couple of these that I've set at home, just kind of being silly, but this is one that is a motorcycle swirling around. I have this set at home for my kids. They thought it was kind of clever. But you can use those ones. Those really aren't going to be very educational. In terms of educational, if you click on device, this will allow you to access your camera roll and you can create new ones. So theoretically, you can come up here to the plus sign and you can go to your camera roll and you can add in a new camera, or excuse me, a new picture that you would like to work. This one right here is actually a video that we're going to be using as well. So I could take a video of taking a video. What do you guys think about that? There we go. So here's our video that we're going to use as our overlay. So essentially, we'll call this one sample overlay. There we go. So essentially what I've done is I've created this video that's now going to show up when I have a picture of something in my viewer screen. So the next thing that we need to do is we're going to select this one, we're going to use it, and now it's asking me for a trigger image. In other words, there needs to be some image that when it sees this, it recognizes this image and it says, okay, now I need to play that video that was just selected. So let's say that I take my wonderful child's Lego drawing. You all know that it's amazing. Now, if you look at the screen right there, you can see that it's over in the far right of the green. That's good. That means your image is solid. Now, there are a couple different things I want to tell you about with this. So I just took my video. You can see what it is, and I'll show you the test of this here at the end. A couple different things that you need to know about taking your trigger images. Your trigger image needs to be something that is very, very clear. It needs to be something that is colorful as well. You cannot take a picture that is black and white and expect it to work very well. It will not. Along with this, you don't want to get something that would be an image that, let's say it's a book, and I'm going to go back here actually, and I'm going to create a new trigger image. So here's our trigger images. I took it right here. This is colorful. What if I tried to do something like this on a textbook? Look at what happens with the red and the green. Oh, actually the red is showing up here, but you know what? It would have a very hard time reading this because it's not very unique and different, and that's going to be a problem. Another thing to look out for is the shading. If you have the light shading and it's very different, that's something that could cause you a problem as well. The final thing you want to be careful of, let's say I wanted to make my phone, which is sitting right here, my trigger image. Let's say that I take the picture right now. Why is this a bad decision? That's because if you look at this, we have a lot of space on the side that could change, because the reality is, what if my phone is actually on a different table? What if I have the phone on this book? It wouldn't register because I had all that extra stuff on the sides. This is the tricky part of Aurasma without a doubt, and this is what I want you to consider. So, with your trigger image, make sure that your whole picture is included here with nothing left on the sides. If you have anything left on the sides, it will not work well. So there we go. We're going to use that one. And give it 1 second here so that it can load up correctly. And now what I can do is then just finish this, and it's going to create this sample aura. Now, we have this to private or to public. For you, you're not going to be able to add this to a public channel. So you're going to just keep this one as private, which means it's going to be on your device, and we will leave it at that for now. Push finish, and now you've created your aura, and if you would like to test it, you can now come over, hover over whatever the area is that you selected, and then there we go. You can see it's now showing up for me and working as I put it on here. So interesting. That's obviously not the most educational use that we just discussed right there, but it is a sample use that is important to understand. So again, here's what we need to do. Step 1, before all of this, create an account. Then you need to determine what would you like to be the overlay. In other words, what do you want to appear whenever an image is hovered over? Do you want it to be an image or a video? Figure out what you want them to see. And then second, choose what is going to be the trigger image. What's going to cause your iPad to show that specific thing that you want them to see. So an example of this could be, let's say in your science fair. You're working on your science fair and you have a poster board. You put a picture on there, related to your experiment. And then if they hover over it, it shows the video of your experiment. That sounds like a pretty cool idea, doesn't it? But in order for it to work, the trigger image must be clear and colorful, and you can't include anything that can change within the background. Don't make it so that you have to have a person standing there or anything along those lines. And then finally, save your new Aura and test it out to see if it works. Okay? You may need to force quit and then reopen, but that worked pretty smoothly for me. So that is our run through here of how to use Aurasma. The challenge here, which is basically just what we went through, is to create one functioning Aura that you can use on your iPad. Test it to make sure that it works. And then third, check your email, and there's a form that I would like you to fill out telling me what some ideas are for how you think we could use Aurasma educationally, whether it be from teachers creating things that you could use or you creating things that you could share with your classmates. Please make sure you fill that out. Okay? So that is all. I hope that is clear to you, and make today a great day.